1, 2, 3. Hello everyone from Taiwan. I'm with my buddy Larry here. You know that? It's the Larry's theme song. I'll show you later. If you guys know what that is, you guys win a point. How did it go? Hold on. How did it go? Larry, if you guys know that, leave it in the comment. Okay. Last week we talked about playing the melody and we used Alone Together as an example. But today I thought we'd talk about the harmony to this song Alone Together, because there are a lot of interesting things that you can learn from this tune in terms of harmony, in terms of also the historical approach to jazz. So we're going to talk about all that fun stuff. So be sure to like and subscribe. And if you go to DC Musical, there should be a sale going on now. So if you want to support me, thank you very much. Let's get started. So there are many ways to harmonize the chords to this song. I think the most popular version nowadays, if you go to any jazz jam session around the world, would be something like D minor, E minor 7/5, A7, D minor, same thing, E minor 7/5, A7, D minor, then A minor 7/5, D7, G minor. And then you have this interesting thing, B minor, usually 7 to E7, then G minor 7, C7 to F, and then usually E minor 7/5, A7 to D. That would be the A section to this song, the first two A's anyway. And that's what we're going to mainly focus on today. So if you go to music school or you take jazz lessons, you might hear your teachers tell you that you have to learn to play the changes, meaning that you have to play in such a way that when you solo and you remove all the accompaniment, you can hear the chords. And I think in general that's good advice. You know, it's a good skill to have, but in reality I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I think your biggest priority should be to be able to play good music, a good solo that's coherent in the style. And to be in the style, sometimes you might not be playing the changes. So what I mean is, these first two chords, first few bars, sorry, D minor, E minor, A7. If you listen to different recordings of different players, some players may play the changes, but some players, if you check out, for example, Grant Green's version, which is in C minor, he does a lot of blues over this entire section. Can we try that together? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you guys heard that? It's D minor, E minor 7, A7, but I wasn't playing the change. I was playing in a bluesy way. So this is something that you have to be aware of. This is something that a lot of players did. So you should not discount this option, okay? Then after we have this thing, A minor 7 to D7. What I like to do is show you some options here. When you have something like minor 7/5 to D7, often you can ignore the minor 7/5 and focus really on just the D7. So you can just play some kind of D7 idea. Can he play A minor 7/5? Of course, if there were a piano player, it would be easier to hear, but he's just going to play Let's make it better. Let's make 2 bars. 1 bar of A minor 7 flat 5, 1 bar D7 G minor. 1, 2,
Wait,
3.
sorry, almost.
1 bar of 2, 1, 2, 5, 1, but 1 bar each chord.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. See? Well, if you want, take your guitar and play A minor 7 D7. But I was essentially just outlining D7, ignoring the A minor 7 flat 5. So that's something that's very, very typical. I do have a course on DC Musical about harmony, the nature of dominant chords, so you can check that out. It's on sale. But one thing, it just depends on the style you want to convey. If you want to sound kind of like bebop-ish, like especially, for example, Pat Martino, what he liked to do is play over the A minor 7 flat 5, E flat major 7, D7. Can you do the same thing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful, just the way I want it to be. So things like that you can explore. Here's another option. Over the A minor 7 flat 5, I can think C minor 6, but C minor with a major 7. That's a very interesting sound. Can you do the same thing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Amazing. You heard that? C minor. So a lot of interesting harmonic devices out there. How did I learn all this? It's very simple. By listening to a lot of players that I admired, and when I heard something interesting, I would just try to figure out what that stuff was. So I encourage you to do the same. Okay? Moving on goes to G minor. So play some chords. But the next part is where it's interesting. This is where a lot of people get confused. And when I checked out Grant Green's version, it almost... I did a video about this some weeks ago, about the common tone diminished chord. I think it was last summer that I filmed this video. And I actually done a few videos like this. But this is the same thing, but it's just hidden. I call this the groove and high treatment. Groove and high, you guys know that song? You know that one? But anyways, the groove and high goes A, E flat major, then A minor 7, D7. And in melody, it actually outlines A minor to D7. And this is exactly what's happening. It's actually historically, originally, if you check out one of the early recordings of this song, so from the A minor 7 flat 5, so this part, so it goes A flat diminished, D, G, C7 over G to F. It's that sound. You can think of it as just F diminished, really, or E7. But a lot of modern jazz players, what they do, they turn it to B minor, E7. I call it the groove and high treatment, because groove and high is actually based on another older song. I think it's called Whispering. Anyway, it's not important here. So you have a lot of options here. Check out that video that I did some weeks ago. I explain all this. One possible option, if you want to have some kind of scalar idea, is to think E7, this scale, sorry, harmonic minor, which is A harmonic minor, E, whatever you call it, Phrygian dominant. And then it goes to G minor, C7, F. Another option is to think altered. Then to G minor, to C7. Can we try that? Can you do the B minor 7, E7? There's not a lot of space, it's only 1 bar. But we'll see what happens. So B minor, E7, G, like in the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, so that's a cool effect. Of course, you can think B minor as well. B minor 7. That's what I did in one of my solo reel. So I'm just thinking B minor, G minor to F. Let's give that a try. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, watch that video that I did some weeks ago, and I also talk about that in my DC Music School course, the nature of dominant chords. Check it out. Okay, and then after you have like a 2-5-1 to D major. So that's very, very interesting. Now, this thing about harmonizing a song, The original version, well, not the original, but one of the early recordings, how they played the song was like this. Da, dee. Can you play just a root for like many bars? Like just keep it like 1, 2, 3, 4, da, dee, da, dee, da, 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 then change the chord here to like some kind of A7. So in the original it's just D minor, G minor over G minor 6 over E. Back to D minor. And I thought that was very cool. But a lot of musicians nowadays, they don't do that. They'll go E minor 7 flat A7 to D minor because the melody allows it, and just to make things a little bit more complicated. And the reason why I want to point this out is that if you check out a whole bunch of different standards from different artists, especially in the old days, you'll find different variations of harmonies. So songs don't have to always be played the way it might have been written in the real book. Nowadays, it's something that's happened because of, like the resources that we have. But in those days, musicians decided how they wanted to change the harmony so that maybe it would be more interesting to solo over for them, right? There we go, and that's kind of the harmonic knowledge I want to share with you in this video. And then, okay, you have two A's, and then you have the B section, where you have da 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 dee, A minor 7 5, da 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 dee, G minor, then G minor 7 flat 5, C7, F. So again, I talked about this just previously. Minor 7 flat 5 to dominant. You can either treat it as there were just 2 bars of dominant chords, and that's very gypsy jazz-ish. It doesn't have to be, it can be bebop too, but like, here, can you play the bridge to that song? And I'll play D7 only, ignoring the A minor 7 flat 5. And then when you get to the G minor 7 flat 5, C7, I'm going to ignore the G minor 7 flat 5 and just think C7 to F. Let's give that a try. So you can simplify things that way. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. Simplified it, and it works, right? Does it sound bad? You guys might know this song, What Is This Thing Called Love? The way people play now is G minor 7 flat 5, C7, F minor, out of tune, just the way I like it. D minor 7 flat 5, G7 to C. But if you listen to early recordings of that song from the 1930s, it's just C7 for 2 bars, F minor, G7 for 2 bars for C. So you see, learning jazz historically is interesting in that way. And then you have the last A section, or A prime, whatever you call it. It's all in the key of D minor with basically 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5. And then different versions out there, but like generally D minor, then B flat 7, A7, D minor, or like D. Little variations around that. This is a good opportunity to play some really bluesy stuff. So in my solo in the beginning, I purposely wanted to plug in this Wes Montgomery thing. I'll show you. Can we do the last A? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is my favorite Wes Montgomery lick. Just the way he does it all the time. It gets to me. Okay? So, learning your arpeggios, learning to play the changes, all that is great, but focus on the music first. And the way you learn all these tricks that I've been sharing with you is by listening to your favorite players. And everyone has their own tricks, so to speak, so everyone can come up with their own styles. I know what I like, I don't know what you like, but hopefully some of the ideas that I share with you, might intrigue you and you can practice them. Okay, so that's what you got to do. I'm saying this because actually when I was younger and I used to take jazz lessons, everyone was saying, oh, you got to learn to play the changes, you got to learn to play the changes. And people taught me scales and arpeggios. I got good at doing that until one day a real jazz musician told me, like, all right, Dennis, you clearly know the chords, you know your harmony, you know your theory, but none of what, he didn't say it like that, but basically it was like, none of it sounds like jazz. It sounds like an exercise. Everything, even though everything I played was correct. Let me see if I can recreate that sound now. Because nowadays everything is kind of like by instinct, because thanks to Django Reinhardt, I started to learn music by ear, listening so much and absorbing it. kind of part of my subconscious. I'm not actively thinking about scales or arpeggios, but let me see if I can recreate what I was doing when I was 15 years old. Can we try the same song again?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4. It works, but it's like, it's not jazz. Okay, so I'm not saying that you shouldn't practice your scales. I'm not saying you shouldn't practice your arpeggios. It's definitely great stuff, but I consider this to be kind of like more advanced stuff. If you're starting out, you really just gotta listen to music. You gotta figure out, develop some language to play coherently, and afterwards you can okay then start to worry about the grammar and all that. Whereas nowadays, I believe anyway, a lot of education starts with the grammar, and a lot of people forget about the music, and that's a bit of a shame. So there we go. Thank you very much.